Hey y'all, good morning. Happy Friday. I hope you guys had a great week. And yeah, it's Friday and it's a long weekend. So, we're about to have some rest and relaxation. And I don't know, y'all might be throwing some barbecues that I didn't get invited to, but it's okay. It's okay. Next time. Next holiday, I want the invite to the barbecue. So today we are going to be talking about navigating price adjustments. So this one is for my sellers as well as my buyers, but this these are for the people who need to put their house on the market and they want to see like what is the market really doing right now. Right? So everybody's talking about rates, everybody's talking about, the election. It's so many different factors that are going on that are surrounding real estate. All those things affect real estate. So, the economic environment, the interest rates, all those things do play a role in what the rates are, what the houses should sell, and things like that. So, okay. And so, this today's show is going to be what to look out for, right? So everything that I say, you guys can always fact check me. So you can always, do your own research. But this is based on, what I know, what I do on an everyday basis on how rates and how just different factors affect what homes actually sell for, right? So now, so let's start by saying this. So if you have any questions surrounding this topic, I got this topic by searching what most people like. I want to know like what people are searching for right now when it comes to the real estate market. And people are trying to figure out price adjustments, right? So you see homes that are sitting on the market for a little while, you see homes that are selling pretty fast, and you're trying to figure out like what's going on in the market, right? So that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about things that people are actually researching. So when I go into Google and they tell me, okay, based on what's going on right now, these are the topics that people are searching for. So I want to start talking about things that you guys are actually looking for, right? So if you have questions, like I said, 404-361-1571. And if you do want to talk to me offline, my phone number is 678-849-4734. And of course, you can email me at Patricia, Patricia .reid, REID, at remax.net. So let's jump into this. So let's say you're a seller and you're looking to put your home on the market and you already have a number in mind. Of course, that's always, people are always like, oh, I saw this house sell for this amount and I want to get the same amount, right? So people start contacting an agent and things like that. But before you do that, understand where the market is right now. The way that the market is right now is essentially buyers are getting a little bit more than what they were getting around COVID time. I explained to you guys how COVID was crazy and people were willing to pay so much over the asking price because the rates were so low. That's not happening right now. People are not willing to pay more than what the house is actually worth, right? So you do have to pay attention to that if you are one of the people that are putting your homes online. I mean, putting your homes on the market to sell. So I did mention that interest rates play a role in that. So during the COVID time, rates were at like 2 and 3%. So people could afford, a lot more than right now where the rates are fluctuating between 5 and 7. I think at one point it got to 7.5. So you're going to get less home because the interest rates are a little bit more, a little higher. Not to say that you can't get a nice home, but it's not going to be the same amount as if the rates were lower. Now, everybody's like, oh, I want to wait till the rates are lower to buy. Keep in mind that even though the rates are lower, the homes are not going down. That's just like if you're staying in an apartment, the rents are not going to go down every year, they're going to go up. The same thing for a house. Essentially they're going up every year. So the more that you wait, oh, I'm going to wait till the interest rate drops and stuff like that. And it's going to be more competition. I want to educate you guys to let you know that when the interest rates are lower, you have a less likely to get the first home that you put an offer on because there's so many people looking at that time. So yes, interest rates are low interest rates are great, but be prepared to compete. And some people are like, man, I don't want to compete for this house. You got 10 people. Man, during COVID time, I'm not exaggerating. You were competing with 30 to 40 people on one home. So interest rates are good, but it is competition. So be prepared for that. So now the market that we're in right now, you may have two or three that you may have to compete with. That's much easier than having to compete with 30 to 40 people. Now, when I say competition, so when we're going to go back to what I talked about before, when we talk about when you put your offer in, it doesn't automatically mean that you're going to get approved for the home, right? When you put your offer in, that's just the seller and the listing agent looking at your offer to see if it compares to what other offers they have. Now, when you have a trusted advisor like myself, I'm going to work on having a rapport with the listing agent to see what's important to that seller, right? And we're going to make our offer to accommodate that, right? So my job is to get your offer accepted and still, of course, look out for your best interest. So I just gave you a tip, like a behind the scene that I do. So thank me later for that. So yeah, so when we are putting those offers in right now, if I know that there's other offers in, I'm going to come in with a strong offer so that our offer can get accepted, right? So we may have to, get a shorter due diligence and like there's different things. But the market, you may put an offer on a house and they have not got any other offers. So whatever we want, we can ask for. So the worst they could say is no. But if they don't have any more, any other offers, they may say yes. I've had a client just recently, they were willing to give $10,000 worth of closing costs, where in a market where the interest rate is not high like it is now, it's lower, they may not want to do that. So I'm talking to my sellers right now. When you are, when you and your agent, preferably me, are about to put a home on the market, you want to take that into consideration. Now, if you have no other offers, the offer comes in, this person is ready, willing, and able to buy, and they need $10,000 worth of closing costs. Did you price that home enough so that won't affect how much you want to get paid? So me as your agent or any agent that you work with, they want to make sure, okay, how much money do you want to profit from this home, right? So we're going to look at that and see, okay, what should we price this home to make sure you get what you want? And if the buyer needs closing costs, I want to take that into consideration. Why? Because right now the market has high interest rates. You may not have a ton of people knocking down your door to get this home. I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just giving you sometimes realistically what's happening. You're having homes sit on the market longer. Number one, sometimes it's priced way too high, or some people don't want to fix anything in there. It's as is. And buyers right now, they have a choice if they want to pick a house that's as is, or if they want to pick a house that's already move-in ready. So these are some of the trends and dynamics that you have to think about right now because of where we are in the market. Not trying to scare you, but just trying to be honest. If I'm working with you, I'm going to always be honest and transparent because I don't want you to come back and say, oh, you're putting my house on the market. You said that this house would sell in a week. I would never do that because I am realistic and I'm going to let you know this is what needs to happen in order for us to sell this home. And I'm going to take interest rates into consideration. I'm going to consider the economic environment right now. We are in a election year. So that means the rates are definitely going to fluctuate up until we vote, pretty much. So, keep that in mind. So if you're looking to sell your home right now, the price adjustment comes in where, let's say you priced it just a little bit higher to see if someone's going to either offer that amount or maybe lower. The price adjustment comes where you have a great buyer, everything's panning out, but the house doesn't appraise, right? So here we are thinking that this house was going to appraise for 350 and it appraised for 340. Are you going to make that price adjustment, or are you going to try to wait for that 350? Right? So these are things that you may want to think about. Another thing, the price adjustment may come, the house been on the market for 45 days. You may want to think about lowering the price to attract a buyer, because sometimes you have a house on the market, not one person comes to tour. That's very discouraging. But that may happen in this type of market. But not to say that it won't sell, but we may have to do some price adjustments. We may have to do some repairs to make it ready, or find a buyer that's willing, that it attracts, to put an offer on the house. So it's always like, you and your agent have to have that relationship that you trust them, and you, if they give you the advice, that you are willing to take it. So sometimes those price reductions are needed, because although we want to get you the profit that you want, if the market is not in a place to for you to get it, we also have to be realistic and also let you know that as well. We may say, you know what, let's try and see what we can get in these next 2 weeks. If we don't have any offers or any tours in 2 weeks, we're gonna drop the price, because sometimes that does happen. Sometimes I'll tell my clients, look, this is what we need to sell for, but then they want to list a little bit higher, and I understand that, because we all want top dollar. I may say, yes, I'll do it, but in 2 weeks, if we don't have anyone to come tour, we don't have any offers, then no, we're gonna have to do a price adjustment. Okay, so keep that in mind when you are thinking about selling right now, because of because of the rates, and because how it's a buyer's market essentially. Be sure that you're okay, or be sure that you're working with someone that you trust, that is going to give you good advice and really know what's going on in the market. You don't want to deal with someone that does not know the market, does not know your market, and your house just sits, for a while. So one of the things that we as agents do as well, we actually do market analysis. So our job is to look at homes that sold in the area. We're looking at homes that are still on the market right now. So let's say you wanted to price your home at a certain amount, but then I look, oh, there's an active property that's available, and it's going for this price that you're trying to sell it for. Guess what? If you price at that amount, as many days as that house been sitting, your house is going to sit too, unless your house is way better than theirs, or something makes your house stand out a little bit more. But just keep in mind, those are some of the factors that we use to price your home. We're looking at active and sold homes to make sure that your house doesn't sit and that we sell your home. So recently I did have a listing, and when I tell you right, we priced it right to the point that we had so many offers. It was like, I almost felt like it was back in COVID times, because it was a great house, it was priced right, and we got to pick the offer that we wanted. So that's what we want for all of our clients. When we're working with you, we want all of you to get the top dollar for your home. So that is what I want for you as well. So when I get back from break, we're going to finish talking about, of course, not only the price adjustments, but just other things to think about when you are about to list your home in this market. So give me about 2 minutes and I'll be right back. Hey y'all, I am back. So back to my sellers and buyers. So once again, before I leave, got a few more minutes. If you want to call into the station, it's 404-361-1571, and I can answer any questions directly. And I am also live on Facebook. You can also um, write in any questions there as well. But for now, I'm going to keep moving on some of the tips and tricks that I want to tell you about the price adjustments and kind of where we are in the market right now. So now, sometimes when you put your home on the market, and this is helpful for not only you but for me as an agent as well, you get feedback. So someone that tours the home, they look at everything and they feel like, okay, we're going to give some feedback on what we either like or don't like about this home. Now, be open-minded about the feedback, because everybody, your home is your baby, we know. But sometimes the reason why it's not selling is because something that the buyer sees that we don't see, because that's like kind of like a someone that's like a neutral party that was like, just looking at your home from their lenses and not yours. So my job, when we get the feedback, we're going to go over it to see what people are saying about your home, because sometimes it's like the carpet. The carpet has been there since you moved in and you haven't changed it. It's not filthy, it's not like a carpet that used to be beige and now it's black, but it's not as pretty as it was when you first moved in, right? So that might be the feedback. Can we get either new carpet, or can you get a professional to really, get it cleaned, whatever the case may be, right? So when you look at these, I guess, feedback, don't take it personal is what I want to say. Like, don't take it personal and feel like, oh no, this person is saying this and that about my house. If this person wants to purchase the home, they may want these things to be fixed before they do that. So we will go over the feedback and see if there's something that's reasonable. Now, y'all know that sometimes, people are just a little extra and they ask for things that it's like, come on now. You know what I mean? So I get that, so we'll look at it and do what makes sense to get your home sold. Like, my job, like as I said, is to make sure that we get what's in your best interest, but we'll take this feedback into consideration if it makes sense. Like, not someone who just wants to complain about something, right? So there's a difference between constructive feedback or just someone that's trying to get over, because they do know how the market is right now, and most buyers are you know, are reasonable, but you get once in a while. So right now we have a call coming in, so let's see who it is. Hello. Good morning. Oh, it's very important. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was actually my next topic. So basically, I would recommend, if you're going to list your house on the market right now, do your own inspection before the buyer does their inspection. So you can kind of get an idea of what things that you may not think about, that you've been in the house for X amount of years. So you may not know or remember some of the things that you've done in the house. But if you get your own inspection as a seller, then you can see for yourself what's really wrong with the property. Because like I said, if you've been there for a long time, and Jay, I know you've been at your property for, a while, you may or may not know what is really wrong. And those inspectors, their job is to look at everything. Also, I know that some inspectors, well, not some, all, their job is to find something. So now we're going to look at that to see, what is just trivial and what is something that's very, very important to change. Does that make sense? Are you still on? Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jay, for calling. I appreciate it. And so, yes, that is what I want to talk about with inspections. If that's something that you're able to, because sometimes people are not able to, but if you're able to, or if you have like a trusted contractor, let's look at the home and see what needs to be done. Sometimes you don't remember when your HVAC was changed, or you don't know when your water heater was changed, but sometimes these contractors can look at it and say, you know what, this water heater has been here for 10 years or 5 years, or kind of guesstimating, but they could look at it and see if it's older or if it looks like it's kind of newer, and if the buyer is going to have an issue with it. Some of the biggest things I see a lot of times with the water heater, they it's the drainage. They want to make sure that drain panel is there. So that's something that you may see on the inspection report. You also want to they'll also look at the roof, even though they can't say exactly when the roof was done, or if you're someone who has brought the home and never changed the roof, you may not know exactly when it was done, but they can get look at it and say, okay, this roof is about approximately 10 to 15 years old. They may have something to say about that. And I think I told you guys a story about a client of mine who was a first time home buyer, and the home that they loved, the home was beautiful, but the roof was over like 15 years old. So at any given point, it would have been time to get a new roof. And I would never recommend, a first time home buyer to get a home that needs a new roof right away. I mean, it's not cost effective. With this market, it's not necessary for you to buy a home like that. Right now, if we were in the other market and you actually had the funds to do it, then hey, but right now it's not needed. So having that inspection is not only important for the buyer, it's also important for the seller to know what's really going on and what may be asked. So we may try to be proactive when say, you know what, I'm gonna get my contractor to fix this, and that, but I'm not fixing that. They're on their own, So we'll talk through that. Me as your agent will talk through that and say, okay, this makes sense to change. This does not make sense to change. Like if you have, something that's trivial, like I said, like, they put broken doorknobs on an inspection report. That's not something that's major. Or, you can just, fix that yourself. Or, oh, the doorknob is not the same color as the other doorknobs. Something crazy. Those things are not important. I mean, of course, aesthetically, you would want that to make your home look good, but that's not something that's so important that a buyer's not going to buy your home, right? So also, we also want to talk about what are your motivations as a seller? Like, what is going to motivate you to really accept this offer, put your home on the market? Is it just the money? Is it that you have to move? Like, what is your actual motivation? Because that plays a role in it too, because that's going to help you accept an offer over another as well. So if you have someone, let's say you needed to move within 30 days, right? I had a client that had to move within 30 days, right? So we want to pick an offer that they can either close in 30 days or less. That's important to you as the seller, and then as your agent, that's what I'm looking for you as well. A fast close would be helpful. Now you have some people that have been in their home for how many years, they may need more than 30 days. Y'all know the people that have all that stuff in their house. I'm not pointing at anybody, but I know some people. But you want to make sure that it makes sense for you as whatever you're looking to do. If you need to sell fast, let your agent know that. If you need some time, let your agent know that. I think I discussed this with you before. Sometimes you can close on your home and then you can ask them for an additional time. So I had a client who we closed on a home, let's say July, I can't remember the months now, but the seller needed until August to move out. So they paid my client, which was the buyer, for those extra 30 days that was needed. Now, if you need that, that's something, of course, to tell your agent up front. So when we're looking at offers, we take that into consideration. Maybe you don't want to pay that extra, to rent. So what we'll do is we'll ask for a longer closing time. We don't want to close in 30 days. We want to close in 45, or we want to close in 50. All these things are negotiable. So if your agent knows them, then it's fine. Well, I have completely run out of time just running my mouth. So, hope you guys have an amazing Labor Day weekend. And I hope my tips and tricks for this week was really helpful. So, I'll see you guys next week. And happy Friday, y'all.